Okay, I've got another game for you between the incomparable Lu Miaoyi and this young FIDE master here. I had difficulty finding much information about him. I think he may be Russian. This young man, born in 1997, Dashgyn, Ibadov. I'm not sure. Anyway, yes, so he is a FIDE master, currently rated at 2308. You can actually see the ratings here for the live rating for them, where location, all that detailed stuff is there. But let's go ahead and get right into the game. White begins with pawn to e4, c5 by Lu Miaoyi. She favors the Sicilian defense. Knight f3 by the master here, and now knight to c6 by Lu Miaoyi. So this is the open Sicilian or classical Sicilian defense. And now we have bishop comes to b5. This is the Rossalimo attack. This was actually played in a couple world championship matches. Caruana played this against Magnus Carlsen, and so did Karyakin. Both challenged Magnus for the world title, and they used this opening. Lu Miaoyi goes with pawn to e6 here. We have castles by white, and knight to e7. These are all book moves, been played thousands of times at this point. And now we have d4 by white, attacking the center with the pawn, and we have c captures d4, as is often played in the Sicilian defense. We have knight captures d4 by white, and now we have knight to g6 by Lu Miaoyi, a somewhat more rare move in the position. Often queen to b6 is played here. That is, by estimation of Stockfish, a better move in the position, but okay. We have bishop back to e2 by the master here, playing white, and now bishop e7 by Lu Miaoyi. We have pawn to c4 now, best move by white, and now castles by Lu Miaoyi, and now knight to c3 by white, and pawn to b6 by Lu Miaoyi, best move in the position. And now white develops his dark squared bishop to e3, and Lu Miaoyi her light square bishop to b7. Now we have queen to d2 here. Probably would have been better to go ahead and move the knight to b5 here for the master, and we'll take a quick look into that variation. So instead, white should have played knight d to b5. Best for black would have been queen to b8 here, and then the queen would have been able to grab the pawn here on d7, and yeah, this certainly would have been a better outcome for white than the one that happened on the board. That's going to be a problem, probably getting the rook behind or something like that, and yeah, this is going to be a difficult position for Lu Miaoyi. It seems like at least you're maybe losing a rook or something, so that's not what happened on the board though, so we'll go ahead and go back to that position. So white did play queen to d2 here. Lu Miaoyi goes ahead and captures the knight on d4. That's the best move in the position. She actually should have captured it a couple moves ago, but now this is definitely the best move in the position, getting rid of that nasty situation we just saw. And now, of course, bishop captures back. Well, not of course, it could be the queen, but this is the best move. Bishop captures on d4. We have pawn to f5 by Lu Miaoyi, best move in the position. Pawn captures on f5, and now knight to h4. Now, this has been played before. This position has been played before. We're 13 moves in. There have been some transpositions, so not all of the moves were played at the same time, but this position has occurred before. So yeah, pawn captures on f4, and then Lu Miaoyi plays knight to h4 here, attacking the pawn here, but also attacking on g2. So yeah, black has to do something about this, and plays a very strong move, goes ahead and pushes the pawn to f3. That makes a lot of sense, but of course now Lu Miaoyi grabs the pawn on f5 with her knight. That's the best move in position. And like I said, this has been played before. This variation had been played a handful of times, and so this was kind of a known line perhaps. We have bishop back to f2 by white, best move in the position, and now bishop to g5. And this is one of only 3 games that has played this move here. And all the other games, well, the other two games, queen just moved. But in this case, white plays pawn to f4, and Lu Miaoyi drops her bishop back to e7. Might have been better to go ahead and move the bishop back to h6, just kind of maintaining that pin on the queen. It seems like this would be a better move that Lu Miaoyi made, as the bishop has more scope. There's more places he can go from here. But the engine does suggest that bishop to h6 would have been stronger. And now we have rook a to d1 here by white, and bishop to c6 by Lu Miaoyi. And now queen up to d3 anyway. Could have happened a couple moves ago rather than pushing f4, but here we are, queen to d3 played by white, and now Lu Miaoyi moves her knight back to h4. Knights on the rim are grim, Lu Miaoyi. Don't you know? We're not supposed to put knights on the rim, but of course she's threatening this pawn again, pushing the trade of her knight that maybe she didn't think was active enough for a bishop. We have bishop captures on h4. We have bishop captures on h4 by Lu Miaoyi, and now bishop to f3 by white. Might have been better to go ahead and just kick that bishop out there with g3. Would have been a stronger move in the position, but okay. We have bishop to f3 by white. We have bishop captures on f3 by Lu Miaoyi, and now rook captures f3 by the master playing white, and now rook lift to f7 by Lu Miaoyi, and now pawn to f5 by white, and Lu Miaoyi moves her queen to e7, and now we have knight to e4 by white, and now pawn to d5 by Lu Miaoyi. We have pawn captures, so c captures on d5, and then Lu Miaoyi finds the strongest move of the position. She reunites her pawns with e captures f5, attacking the knight. The FIDE master moves his knight back to c3. By the way, yeah, Lu Miaoyi is not technically rated as a master. Even though her actual rating is 2399, she hasn't got her paperwork in with FIDE or something like that, and so FIDE does not have her rated as a FIDE master, where the player playing white is a FIDE master. So we have knight back to c3 by the FIDE master, and now queen to d7 by Lu Miaoyi, calling this a mistake, saying that instead should have played queen here. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at the line where instead black plays queen to c5. So if instead queen to c5 check, the king's got to move to h1, maybe getting him further out of the game if it comes to a bunch of trades. He's further from the center of the board, which, if you trade off everything, you've got nothing but bishops and knights left, and the kings are the strongest pieces, and you want to get them involved. But anyway, let's continue. We have pawn to g6 by black would be best move, and then they could advance their pawn to d6. White could advance, and then we would have rook to d8 by black. White should attack the bishop with rook to f4. Bishop would come to f6 then by black, and this should have been a better position. Probably fairly easy to go ahead and win this pawn now, as the bishop can come here. The rook comes over first, but they're not going to be able to hang on to that pawn, and yeah, Lu Miaoyi will be up a pawn, and yeah, her position should be better. Okay, let's go back to what actually happened on the board now. So Lu Miaoyi did play queen to d7. We have pawn to d6 by white, and now rook to e8 by Lu Miaoyi. And now we have queen to d5 by white. Might have been better to go ahead and get the knight guarding that pawn here. That would have been a better move in this position, but not what happened on the board. It's not a huge difference, so we won't look into that. Lu Miaoyi plays king to h8 here. And yeah, this is a mistake. She should have played bishop back to f6 instead, and we'll go ahead and take a look at that line now. So Lu Miaoyi should have played bishop to f6, and then best move would be rook f to d3 here for white, and then a rook lift to e5 by black, attacking the queen. The queen would need to move back. Best square would be B3. And yeah, this would have been a better situation. Again, we probably would have opportunities to win this pawn. And well, I say we as if I'm playing for Lu Miaoyi, but Lu Miaoyi would have been a little better off than the situation that actually occurred on the board. But we'll go ahead and get back into that on-board situation now. So Lu Miaoyi did play king to h8. Then we have knight to b5 by white, and rook lifts to f6 by Lu Miaoyi, putting more pressure on that pawn. And now we have rook to c3 by white, and we have pawn to a6 by Lu Miaoyi, rook over to h3 by the FIDE master. Probably would have been better just to go ahead and kick the bishop here, and actually white would probably have a better position. So let's actually quickly take a look at that variation as well. So instead, the FIDE master should have played pawn to g3 here, attacking the bishop. Bishop doesn't have anywhere to go besides g5, so that's the only square to go to. And then white could play knight to c7, attacking the rook. The rook would need to reposition. We have rook to d8 would be best by black. And then we have rook c to d3 here for white. And this would have been a better position. White is winning in this position, which is not the case in the variation that happened on the board. But let's go ahead and get back into that right now. So the FIDE master played rook to h3 here. And now Lu Miaoyi actually blundered and played rook to h6 here, and her opponent resigned. Yeah, he gave up, which is really hard to see why. Because actually, if he plays the right moves, he should be winning in this position, or at least be able to get a draw. So kind of jumping the gun or on the resignation, maybe? Let's take a look. Okay, so yeah, he did resign in this position, but what he should have just done is played on. He should have played pawn to g3, kicking the bishop, trying to kick the bishop. Best move actually in response would be pawn captures knight on b5, and then rook captures bishop on h4 for white. Rook captures back for black, messing up that pawn structure. So rook captures on h4 for black. Then we have pawn captures on h4 for white, and this position favors white. White is winning. White's got the passed pawn. They, you know, the king's even in a better position. Lu Miaoyi's king's a little further from being able to get involved if need be. Yeah. I guess Lu Miaoyi does have these three pawns that are kind of working together, so that might be some sort of advantage. But yeah, white would have been winning this game. So moral of the story is don't resign. Yeah, fight on. Maybe you can get a draw or something. This was not a lost position for white. So why did he resign? You would have to find him and talk to him. Let me know if you ever get a hold of him. Anyway, thank you for joining me for that. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, as I will be posting many more videos of Lu Miaoyi's, as well as other game reviews, tactics as well. And if you have any suggestions on what I should do a video on as far as chess is related, please let me know. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.